Opposing Forces, written in Prague, 2010. Battling the darkness, seeking the light, has always been the human being's plight. Observing this dilemma is sometimes quite a fright. For some it's so painful, we simply take flight, only to find that the light is not found in a place, but inside. A history of empowerment that is pure light. Some have used the military to bring fear and fright. Let's choose the literary to conquer internal strife, since life is a paradox of darkness and light. Opposing forces are fascinating sources to inspire us to creation or to distract by confusion. One can always be sure, no matter what the situation, it is always about communication. Chaos, written in Prague, 2015. Elections, selections, mass sterilizations, some human beings in the wrong vibrations, anger, greed, and stupidity, all inherent in our entity, sadly, the human reality. Pollution, corruption, and wars being fought in the name of religion. Confiscation, occupation of other people's homelands. Is there no satisfaction? Cowardice, prejudice, now disguised as democracy. Dialogue breaks down and wars break out because politicians are clowns. His story is told in favor of the foe, and amnesia returns because no one has learned. Suck, suck, suck. They're all dried up. No more milk for the parasites of your ilk. Suck, suck, suck. You're out of luck. The cash cow's udders are all dried up. Some take your energy, they care naught. Others drain your cash flow without a thought. But it's you who have allowed it. It's no one's fault. No more cash flow from this cow's vault. Cash cow's udders once offered plenty. Now those coffers just hang empty. Suck, suck, suck. No more milking this cash cow. Guess you're just out of luck. Now perhaps you ought to try a duck. Written in Prague, 2015, this is a commentary on the deceptive nature of infidelity. How needy are you, Mr. PhD man? Pauper having delusions? You're full of needs and have sown rather deceptive seeds. No respect for women, already a bad omen. Spiritual values clearly in crisis have come under fire. Your moral compass has gone haywire. Don't you ever tire of using the unsuspecting for the fulfillment of your parasitic needs? Suffering from severe malnutrition brought on by spiritual starvation, life in crisis, and he knows not contrition. His disease is not uncommon and can be diagnosed, because a life which is based on the intellect alone and without the guidance of a sound philosophy suffers from higher psychosis, unless one embraces metamorphosis. Judge not. Judging by material means only, we run the risk of being misguided abysmally. Where does true fortune really live? That which we kill for? Is it in the banks of Switzerland, London, or New York? Where does poverty often thrive? Is it not in the human spirit, from which derives the quality of our lives. What makes societies civilized? Is it in large cities where we live? Is it found in respect to fellow human beings that we give? If we can all these questions answer, our world is well recovering from the cancer, which threatens to consume us all and no doubt prevent humanity's fall. I'm indeed forever hopeful for our awakening from humanity's tortured slumber. Hand in hand we'll march together. As ever-increasing numbers, we will join each other to find that universal solution for our survival. World peace is possible if we truly believe that all that is deemed impossible can indeed be made possible. Enslavement. This is a commentary on the state of religion. Enslavement through fear, humanity's greatest burden to bear. Religion for our moral compass, a guide, should not lead us all to genocide. Should we not share a sound philosophy, which helps us all to ward off catastrophe? Should not control, but empower. Should be a mirror reflecting the practitioner's power. Finding the Love Within. Written in London, 1992, after having met the practice of Buddhism and having had the realization that love begins with self. Looking for love in all the wrong places brings heartache and pain. Searching for love in too many faces, let's not drive ourselves insane. No other love can measure up to the love within. Love that sustains, nourishes, and befriends us. First, love yourself like no one else can, because that's where true love begins. A flower slowly unfurling from the depths within. Finding that love within has been the hardest thing. Somehow I have always known that this battle I must win. 'Cause if I failed, what purpose then would this life be but a mortal sin? From the source, this is a poem written in London, 1993, and it's a commentary on our expectations in romantic relationships. Back then, I thought that love was hell, until I learned that love begins with self. And when respect becomes the order, I shall understand and welcome a brand new partner. For no more shall I reel in shock, nor feel despair behind his back. No unrealistic expectations, just the joy that comes from trusting in human relations. Self-respect has its own power. Observe the bee that pollinates the flower. Whomever heard of any flower reaching out to grab the bee? It's the bee who goes to the flower. Breathing Freely, written in London, 1993, an observation of people in obsessive love relationships. Restrictions of obsessive love constricts, and like a boa constrictor can drag you lower, writhing into the hell of false desires. True love is freedom and inspires wisdom, trust and reason without limitations, self-empowerment forever seeking, no webs of deceit endlessly weaving. Potentially Youth, written in London around 1993. It's a motivation for the youth of the world. Discover your potential. This is the most essential. True happiness can be realized only when you decide to choose a path, and only then can you prioritize. A life without direction develops no conviction. Then one's existence is nothing but a shallow fiction. Love comes and goes, winds of change will blow. Once you believe in self, one can achieve all else. Become the captain of your ship and the master of your fate. Leave nothing to chance, or it might be too late. Find strength and courage, and justice and truth, because peace on our planet will depend on the youth. Live a life full of hope. That is all you'll need to cope. Gems of advice from my father. Observe, little one, from whose mouth they're spoken. Promises are like pie's crust, easily broken. It's nice to be nice, but that can sometimes become a vice. Nothing is ever really for free. Sooner or later, you must pay that fee. Nothing for nothing, and very little for your money. Soon you learn, no money, no honey. Always be grateful for each day that you awake, for tomorrow's not promised, so don't be ungrateful. That is a grave mistake, and never feel envious of what you don't have, since the source of your envy may have made someone else quite sad. If and when you marry, and he is older than you, always bear in mind it's better to be an old man's sweetheart than a young man's slave. Never marry a sailor, as he's likely to have a sweetheart waiting in every port that he stops. And musicians are tempting, but sometimes an unsavory lot, since they have access to those willing to dance the foxtrot. Finally, my dear, father taught me that I should travel the world, meet different cultures, and not be afraid, because people are people, regardless of shade. On this advice, I've pondered deeply and quickly realized the reason why I have wandered as a cloud serenely. So thank you, dear father. As a tribute to you, I've now lived in 5 countries, and all because this wonderful advice to which I have remained true. This poem is my debut poem written on a New York City subway 2 weeks after my arrival from London. This was later read to an audience at the Nuyorican Poets Cafe on East 4th Street in the East Village, 1996. This poem is also the first in the series of my poetry written in the United States. Celebrate the differences. So you call it racism, and I say it's disrespect. Do you believe in your supremacy? Well, I know for sure that it's the legacy of your fallacy. So tell me, is it possible that we shall ever be comfortable with this our misguided state of foolishness? Can we finally make peace, the commonality with each other? I say yes, we can, if each stops blaming the other. Diversity in races, or the superficiality existing in places. How amazing that the vastness of our universe is blessed with so many multicolored faces. So let's celebrate the differences and instead eradicate all those negative references. World peace must now be our priority. It's time to transcend our insecurities, born of fear and used to divide and conquer the human family. Let's now break free from the chains of greed, anger, and stupidity that have bound us since time in all its immortality. An ode to Joe, with my unconditional love, respect, and gratitude always. You have simply been the very best. I must definitely confess. In you I found those qualities that cushion the blows of life's sometimes harsh realities. You possessed no gold, but the most incredibly beautiful soul. I shall treasure your honesty of heart, loyalty and friendship that I admired right from the start. Our relationship in this lifetime will always be valued, even though we are apart. I thank you, dear Joe, for inspiring the child in me and sharing your gentleness with me. Since now I know and do believe that's why you were sent to me. You've wrapped yourself around my heart right from the very start, and I knew immediately that you would play a deeply healing part. And if this world were my kingdom, I would gladly crown you king, and that, dear Joe, is a fact of life to your attention I must bring. You have taught me how to love again, and that to live completely there must be trust. In my prayer for you, it will always be that like a dove of peace, you will always soar free, and that one day soon, when the sun shines brilliantly in the sky, or that one night, when the moon hangs bright, a beautiful woman will enter your life, who will bear you the children your dear heart desires, and after whose welfare I shall always inquire. I thank you for bringing such joy to my life, and for reawakening the passion inside. Since life is eternal, there are never goodbyes, just the memories of love, trust, that must never die.